Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I'm Christine, and I'm here with the Shekel Men from the Pioneer Saloon out in Good Springs, which, by the way, it's only 25 minutes outside of town. I was just out there over Thanksgiving.
Right.
I took my sister-in-law, Molly, who was up from La Jolla. She'd never been out to a place like that. We had a ball. We had the Ghost Burger. We're going to talk about that in the cafe, a couple cocktails. And we met, as always, every time I go out there, I meet the coolest people.
Oh, yeah.
There were some Germans there, and they were taking pictures, and there's always a ton of bikers out there, all kinds of people. It's phenomenal, just the draw that it has. But back to our little, I'm jumping ahead of things. I'm so excited. We were talking about all the records you had to go through, which I had never even considered, and bringing the place up to code. That's a whole...
Very tricky. Very tricky.
Were you all involved in that? Yes. Share your stories. I want to hear.
Well, what happened is, we would come up with an idea to... First of all, we have to preserve the history. Nothing can be built or added on to this property without having it time period sensitive for the year that it was open. So we look at it very closely, and so sometimes we would add a section, mostly outside to house more people. We'd add a section, and we'd look at it and say it's not quite right, and we'd just rip it apart.
Visually, or
visually.
Tell our viewers a little bit about the construction, because that's very exciting.
Well,
corrugated tin, and
it's possibly the only building in America left standing that has stamped tin on the inside and the outside. Now, you'll find stamped tin buildings throughout the United States, but typically you have shiplap siding on one side, or if it's tin outside, you got wood inside. But to have tin on both sides, it's
stunning too when you walk in.
It's stunning.
It was a Sears and Roebuck kit.
The what?
Sears and Roebuck kit.
Oh, that's
back
right.
in 1913.
Sears and Roebuck.
The buildings were. They came from New York City on a train
wow.
to San Francisco, and then they took a mule train and brought it up to Good Springs, and
all of it came out. So all the nails and everything else, the frame itself is all 2x4s. Back when 2x4
were real turbine.
When we went in to check the insulation and the other stuff inside the walls, we found that the walls were made out of
redwood.
Right.
The 2x4s, real redwood.
Yeah.
And the insulation, the little that they had, was old newspapers. So you could look at 1913 newspapers.
So you guys have all? Did you keep some of those?
Oh yeah,
or?
Wow. We have a lot of artifacts.
Oh, that is amazing.
In our museum, we display several of those artifacts.
I've never made it to the museum yet. I just have way too much fun. I can't even, but I'll get there. I'll be out in a couple weeks, as a matter of fact.
Well, we'll give you a private tour.
I would thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah.
So the bar itself, what kind of wood is that? The bar.
Rosewood.
Wow, that's.
And Tom, talk about the bar.
Tell us about the bar.
He's
you are the bar
expert.
manager.
Sure. Yeah, it's a Brunswick bar. So it was made by the same company that makes the pool tables and the bowling alleys and stuff like that.
Amazing.
Built in the mid-1800s in Brunswick, Maine. At the time, the only way to get it over here was to put it on a ship, brought down around the Cape because it was before Panama Canal, brought up to San Francisco. Then by ox wagon, it was moved to Rhyolite, Nevada.
Holy cow!
Which
There's
is
some
actually,
miles on that.
Yeah, it was used there till 1912. That town went bust, so they put it back on the wagon, shipped down to Good Springs, and it put in the Pioneer Saloon. Been sitting there ever since.
That is amazing. I knew that it had been transported, but I didn't realize that it had a sea voyage around the Cape and everything. If only the wood could talk.
That's half of its fame.
Half of it. Yeah.
The other half of the fame is there's like 7 holes in the bar, on the top of the bar, and they're burnt into the bar. And that happened in 1942 when actress Carol Lombard was killed tragically in a plane crash on Mount Potosi.
Right.
The Pioneer Saloon was used for base camp of search and rescue. Clark Gable came up from Burbank. He told the sheriff, I'm going with you. We're going to go up on the mountain and look. And sheriff said, I'm sorry, Mr. Gable, we can't have you go. So Mr. Gable sat at the bar for about 24 hours, wouldn't talk to a soul, smoked a big cigar, and kept putting it out on the bar. So today you can go in and put your finger in this hole, because they're quite deep now, because people have touched them for so many years, where Clark Gable sat when the tragic news about his wife
It gives you chills now.
It does.
You know, I've heard a rumor there's a ghost out there as well, but it isn't Clark or Carol Lombard, is it? I mean,
No, the main ghost.
the main ghost.
The main ghost. We have a
most
host of
prevalent
spirits.
The one who shows himself the most.
Yeah.
The ghost with the most. Tell us.
The ghost with the most is a character named Paul Kowski. Paul Kowski was a great guy. He was in 100 years ago. He was a miner. He was a cart shark. He was a womanizer, and he was a general rascal. Okay, and
I've known a couple of those, but
there's 3 bullet holes in the wall in the saloon,
I've seen them.
and that's where Paul Kowski got shot dead because they caught him with an extra ace in his hand, and it was no worries. It was ruled justifiable homicide.
Yeah.
And we have the original table that they played cards at
Oh.
in 1915,
Ooh.
and it's inside the museum room as well. You can sit there and have your dinner or cocktail
Oh,
while
really?
you're looking at the newspapers and all these stories.
And one of the best reads in the house is the coroner's report that detailed the whole entire story.
Amazing. That's what I love about you guys is you're so hands-on. Like really, that you would allow customers to sit at the table and
course.
actually, because if you have a good imagination, which I do,
Yeah.
you
But
could
the
visualize
problem
it.
with you is you would have a problem at night being at the Pioneer Saloon.
Why?
Well, because Paul Kowski loved blonde women.
Ooh.
And when we do
But
these
he was a rascal.
haunted lockdowns, we could have 20 girls in there, and if there's a blonde there, she gets touched. She get the meter. Her ghost meter goes nuts. Crazy.
Yeah.
'Cause
Do
Paul
I have a ghost meter? I didn't know I had one.
You will have.
Yeah.
So you have haunted.
We do haunted lockdowns from midnight till 3 in the morning.
When's this?
We do it about 5 times a month. And we have a website, hauntedlockdown.com. And you go there and it tells the dates of that.
And it's actually been, the Pioneer Saloon's been voted on 2 different places as the top 10 most haunted bars in America.
I didn't know
And we were on
that.
Ghost Adventures. We're going to be on Aftershock. And it's just amazing.
You've had a lot of celebrity filming out there for different, like bike ride. I mean, different what I was saying,
movies.
reality shows and movies,
shows,
and TV
movies,
shows,
video
and
games.
One of them that we're really excited about, Christine, is in 2016 coming up. We've got a new movie called Dear Eleanor, and it's about Eleanor Roosevelt.
Way.
And it's part of that was filmed out in Good Springs.
That's awesome. You have so many events. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Like, do you 3 brainstorm and come up? You've got the stargazing. We are going to talk about the, how do you call it? The
Star Journey.
Star
which
Journey.
is stargazing.
Yes, I know. And you get to build your own telescope, and he keeps the cocktails coming. I know you do other things, but we won't talk about that.
Not really, he doesn't.
I try to stay
And
focused.
there's so many cool things. I mean, an hour isn't going to do it all, but people need to know. Again, it's only a 25-minute drive, but people can bring their own ribs and stuff and barbecue them out on that patio. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then order side dishes. They can camp out in the back because we all do like cocktails.
Yeah.
And the closest place to get a room overnight would be the Gold Strike, right?
Yes.
But
5
unless you have a camper.
Uh-huh.
And can people literally camp in tents?
Yeah.
So you can go out there, just kick it, do whatever you want, and just be safe always when drinking, and
Yes.
spend the night with the ghosts and
Yes.
you 3. It's just, I know. And you've got the Thursday night dining.
Yes.
There's just a ton of stuff coming up, and see, this segment went by so darn fast. I'm going to shout out to the Red Roof Inn before I forget about it. Love the Red Roof Inn on Paradise, across from the Hard Rock, and it's convenient to the Strip, airport. They offer free Wi-Fi and breakfast for guests, and they're just great people, and they're pet friendly. Are you?
Yes.
Yay! That's
Yes.
another plus.
You can bring your dog out.
Can they go in the saloon?
Yes.
I
Yes.
should have brought my doodle out with Molly.
Yes. Yes.
She would love that. I'm going to have to do that. There are a lot of cats out there too. You had a guest
we
out
have
there.
some wildcats. Yeah.
Oh, but they seem. I mean, they weren't like
They're not too
You
ferocious.
coyotes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, mountain lions.
No, I haven't seen
Further
those.
up.
Further up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's wildlife and other
There is.
off-roading and
Saw a
stuff.
Roadrunner this morning.
I love them.
Yeah.
I had 2.
They're not as
Yeah.
big as the cartoon.
No, they're not, but they're beautiful, aren't they?
Definitely.
Yes, I had two that would literally. I'm over kind of in a suburban area, and I named them Robbie and Roberta Roadrunner. And after I blessed them, they had babies. So, well, again, I'm wasting time when you have so much more to talk about. So we're going to take a break here. We'll be right back, and just remember, folks, all of this is only 25 minutes from Las Vegas. It's great. Be right back.